Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Robertson Tirado. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about various different topics pertaining to film and independent film, and a little bit about me and what am I doing. So what's interesting is that they're filming actually the movie The West Side Story in my neighborhood about 2 blocks away. I didn't know this is because they actually post signs with a movie called San Juan something. And so I Googled it, what was San Juan? It's basically code word for West Side Story. So no one would know that Steven Spielberg was actually filming 2 blocks from me. And what caught my eye was that actually I was watching the movie West Side Story, and West Side Story had a scene of one of the guys running down the street and actually looked just like the street right by my house. And so then I saw the cars for the 1950s being brought in, and they did about 2 blocks with those cars, and the block resembles so much of that original movie. Hopefully it's as good as the first movie, but that's some of the things that happens in New York City, the city that I was born in, and many different other shows before they used to film Empire, Boardwalk Empire in this area. So that's just what big blockbuster movies do. But actually what that does is provides a lot of energy for independent artists to come to New York and actually use the landscape to film some interesting scenes for their independent film. And also what's really interesting is that I just last month was accepted into the Florence, Italy Film Festival. And my film is called The Lost Interview of Carlina, Salle. And this movie is actually a period piece. It takes place in the 1920s. And what I've learned is that when you make a film that deals with a different era, it actually does not go out of style. It doesn't look dated. And the film, The Lost Interview of Carlina, Salle, was actually made 5 years ago. And so I was really surprised to actually get it into this film festival. So the movie still had legs, it still had life. So when we're thinking about making a movie, we make something from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 20s. Even before that, it doesn't look dated because it's already happened. So that's just a little bit of my advice. And also I want to talk about is my book, The Boy from Zarephath. And if you go on my page, the links below, you'll see that it will send you to a link that if you donate to the making of it into a film, you actually get this poster. And this poster is a map of the Middle East in 2,700 years ago. So this is part of the marketing, and you could get this poster here. And a little bit more about The Boy from Zarephath. People don't know what that is. It's a Bible story. What I did was I took a little piece of the Bible story of a mother and her son. And the story talks about what happens to them. And this book isn't preachy, is not affiliated with any religion, but what it does is it takes that really awesome story of these two. But what's interesting is the mother wasn't religious at all. And we'll see what happens to her. But the Bible only talks about them from just a short period of time. And what my novel does, it explores what might have been her life before whatever is written, and then what happens to the boy when he becomes a man. So I explored by imagination, and also took current events, true historical current events of what had happened to Israel and the different nations in Egypt at that time, because they had to fight the Assyrians, which is historically everyone knows the Assyrians were very similar to the Nazis, and the Nazis actually learned their techniques and studied the Assyrians and in conquering. So this story is about adventure, it's about love, it's about single parent. And I grew up with a single parent with my mom, and she took care of my brother and I in Brooklyn. And it was a lot of trials and tribulations, and her fighting for us, and the bullies she had to fight. I mean, it was just nonstop battles, so it was pretty hard for her. And when I read this story, I could relate to how difficult it was. She was dealing with starvation. Her and her son were starving, and it's a really powerful story. If you get into it, it goes into different races, it goes into different religions, it goes into different ethnicities, and it goes into all different nations, and how all these people are brought together and become friends, and new friendships are formed. So this story is an adventure. It's to help young people deal with the stresses of our day. It helps boys to see that there is hope. It helps single parents to cope, and it's just an awesome story. So this is some of the things that I'm working on, and what you have to do is just keep filming, put things out there, make sure that it's high quality so it can be respected, and do something nostalgic so it would never age. So that's just my take on what's happening locally, what's happening in my life. And another thing I want to let you know is that my background is I'm a master carpenter, self-employed in New York my entire life. And basically I make bathrooms, not basically, but I make bathrooms and kitchens. And with those skills, I use them to actually make the film props for my movies and all different things. You know, I made one of my first movies was an elevator. I built the elevator. Second movie was science fiction. I built the spaceship and all the different props, the water tower that was needed. And my last movie, The Lost Interview of Carlina, Salle, I built a metal prop, a prop that spelled Cine. And so this was metal, and I cut the metal out and I grind it. So all these different skills you have, doesn't have to be carpentry skills, could be all different. It could be an accountant. You could use those accounting skills to actually finance your movie. You could use your organizational skills. You could use all different things that you have. If you're an electrician, you could use you could be a person into lighting and all different things. You know, all Hollywood is a construction company. You know, a lightweight construction company, Hollywood is. So think about that, and put imagination, put creativity, and put hard work and love into your film, and it would be something I guarantee you people will appreciate. Even if it takes years, never give up on that movie. Years later, it can find an audience. So that's my take. My name is Robertson Tirado, and it was nice seeing you again. Thank you.